50 years ago, an orbit calculating computer took up a whole room. Today, thousands of times that computing power rests casually in our pockets. This device connects us to practically every manual, language, and piece of creative insight humanity has ever produced. If there is a skill you want to nurture, the instructions are waiting for you. But if you look around a waiting room or a subway car, you won't see people using these supercomputers for intellectual growth. We are usually tapping through mindless games or locked into an endless scroll. Try bringing up a basic philosophical or historical issue in casual conversation. Often, the best reaction you'll get is a smirk. The worst, a blank stare. We are caught in a strange contradiction. Our civilization has achieved peak access to data, yet we are living through a severe drought of introspection. Statistically speaking, we are the most credentialed humans to ever walk the earth, armed with multifaceted degrees from thousands of universities. Yet despite all this formal schooling, we appear to be a thoughtless species hurtling toward overlapping ecological, economic, and spiritual catastrophes. This suggests that mass education, when divorced from deep reflection, fails to provide the tools necessary for survival. When we treat thinking as a social inconvenience, we essentially dismantle our own ability to navigate a crisis. How did we get here? For some reason, modern culture has developed a silent, heavy stigma against reflective inquiry. Our technology actually mutes our human intellect. This diagram tracks a typical digital interaction. Instead of working through a problem, the platform hands you the answer before you analyze the question. This tight loop of instant gratification means you never struggle with the unknown, and your capacity for analysis fades entirely. Our technological conveniences haven't actually made us smarter. They've simply stolen the space we used to rely on to make sense of the world. Compare this to periods of genuine human advancement, like the Enlightenment or the intellectually vibrant decades immediately following the Second World War. During those eras, communal reflection was deeply respected. Today, we claim to be far more advanced, yet we still rely heavily on militarism and an expanding military-industrial complex to resolve global disputes. Consider how Gandhi freed India. He didn't use revolution or military force. He convinced millions of people that they could be free, and in turn persuaded the British Empire to let them go. He relied on moral courage and deep thought. Real, lasting societal change happens through collective thoughtfulness, the exact tool we have discarded in favor of brute force. This lack of reflection trickles down to a very personal level. Young people today are terrified about the instability of their future, wondering how they will survive economically and what kind of world they are inheriting. Navigating those fears means wrestling with three great unavoidable questions. Why am I here? What is my mission? And what happens when I die? Answering those requires sitting in silence and confronting yourself. For a mind accustomed to constant stimulation, that silence triggers intense panic. So we drown it out with digital noise and endless scrolling to keep the quiet away, which drives a massive, measurable spike in depression and anxiety. Our reliance on screen addiction functions as a mechanism of avoidance, allowing us to flee from the discomfort of existential introspection. The antidote to this is remarkably simple, and it costs nothing. Start by intentionally leaving your phone alone for the first 1 or 2 hours of your day. Instead of consuming content, manually write down your own ideas. Putting pen to paper forces the brain to slow down and diminishes the anxious, incessant chatter of the monkey mind. Consciousness is a capacity. Left unused, it becomes a deformed bush, but with use, it grows into a magnificent tree. Daily, intentional reflection is the workout required to magnify your brilliance and rehabilitate a dormant intellect. Socrates once said that he couldn't actually teach anybody anything. His only real job was to make them think. And Confucius warned that learning without thought is wasted labor, while thought without learning is highly perilous. A degree isn't required for this. Anyone can step outside today, observe the natural world, and honestly examine their own life. Because thought is the only faculty that allows us to move beyond simple reaction and toward moral courage, it remains our most essential gift. Choosing to use it is how we steer the world back toward wisdom and peace.